Okay. And we used to chase around Lucifer. We used to feed him and stuff like that. And one day Lucifer got pregnant. Okay.
If someone watched this particular part of the podcast without any context, they'd just be like so frightened right now. Yeah, we fed Lucifer. Lucifer was doing well, and then one day Lucifer was pregnant. Three, two, one, and we're recording. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Stayin Alive podcast. And I'm joined by an old classmate of mine who I haven't spoken to for 6 years. Everyone say hi to Sherwin. Sherwin, thanks for joining me.
Hi, guys. Hi, everybody.
And go ahead. You're saying something, Sherwin?
Yeah, should I introduce myself?
Yeah, sure. You can introduce yourself.
My name is Sherwin, and like I met Shawki back in sixth grade, and I don't know, he's been a very good influence in my life since back then.
No, actually, I don't think you should start the podcast off with that because we're going to talk about crazy dorm stories. So maybe don't say that I've been a good influence and then proceed with stories. But yeah, go on.
Oh, okay. So no, I'm not taking that back, man. It's just like it's been a crazy ride. It's been a crazy ride.
Right. So I kind of let slip, but the topic for today's episode is going to be living on campus or in hostels. And both of us have lived on our own as university students. And I'm sure you have a lot of crazy stories to share. I have a lot of crazy stories to share. And I don't think either of us will be able to say all the stories you want to say because we have a lot of things to talk about. But at least we can share some of the cool stuff or some of the most memorable stories at least. Before I actually get into the stories, why don't you give me a background about how long you stayed in the hostel for and what was the situation like? Because you mentioned when we were texting, you mentioned you stayed in 4 different hostels, right? So just give me a brief overview of your hostel situation.
So that's like, it's going to be a long sort of conversation about how I stayed in 4 different hostels. It's because like I have to explain so I'm studying for a medical degree. So I'm like an MBBS student now. So like the process of getting into MBBS in India is like really complicated, and it's hard. Okay, so I didn't crack the exam for like 2 years. So like I stayed in different places to study and stuff. So the first time was back in 11th. Actually, we were in 11th, and my parents they forced me to go to this coaching sort of thing. Like the stuff you hear about. There's this place called I forgot. There's a whole city for this kind of stuff, right? Have you heard about it? There's this.
I'm familiar with the whole situation with coaching and like dedicated areas and stuff. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So the coaching thing was there. So I started in 11th. Okay. So that was like during our summer vacations. So like I was in 11th, and they forced me to go to this place, and I didn't know anyone, and like so randomly I went in late. Okay. So I went in late. So I didn't get their hostel. Okay. So, but by luck, they did some kind of miscalculation. So there's like 30 students with us. Like the same situation. They paid for everything, but they don't have a hostel. So then they booked this thing. Okay, this building far away from our studying center or whatever. And there's like 30 guys, and these guys are all expats like me. Okay, so they're like,
all just there for the sake of coaching.
Yeah, just for 2 months. Okay, they're just there to study that kind of stuff. Okay, so there's guys from Saudi, there's guys from Dubai, there's guys from Qatar, there's guys from Bahrain, there's guys from Kuwait.
Yeah.
all Kerala guys, okay, all
Of
Malayalis,
course, yeah. All
okay.
Malays, of course,
They're
yeah.
also,
Yeah.
and let me tell you, the experience was mind blowing. Okay, it was like the best summer of my life. Okay, it was like incredible. It was like, I mean, everything I've done hasn't come close to those 2 months. It's like,
Oh
I
wow.
mean,
So did you
that
study
college,
anything in those 2 months?
share, hell no, hell no. That's why I had to, like, no, hell no, man. I was not studying at all. Like,
I mean, as long as you had fun though, so that's fine. I mean, if you're not studying but you had a good time, then it makes sense. And if you didn't have a good
yeah,
time and
yeah.
if you're studying, then it makes sense. But if you're not having a good time and if you're not studying, then we have a problem.
Yeah, that's hostel number two and hostel number three for me.
Oh yeah. So wait, so just to be clear, you actually started your first hostel experience was before university, like in 11th for this coaching
Yeah,
stuff for
yeah,
2 months. Okay.
11th.
So that's hostel number one, right?
Yeah, hostel number one.
And what's hostel number two?
So hostel number two is the same thing, but in 12th. Okay.
Okay.
But so like what happened is like the 30 guys, right? Those guys, like they were not the same grade. They were like in 12th and 11th. It was a
Okay.
mix of juniors
But
and
last
seniors.
2 years of high school essentially.
Yeah, sort of like that.
Yeah.
So what happened is that when I went to 12th, right? Uh, the my boys, they already graduated, so they've already gone
Oh,
off to colleges. So like
yeah.
half my friends have just evaporated, and
Right.
then they put us in this other hostel with guys from Kerala. They've studied in Kerala, and they're like
Okay.
doing the coaching. So that is a very different experience. That's like
Right.
hardcore sort of stuff. Okay, so
Yeah.
so these guys
So
are
you
all
must
like
have been referred
really.
to the you must have been referred as the Gulf guy then if most of the people are from
Yeah, sure.
Kerala,
They
they
didn't
grew up
like
there.
us, they didn't like us at all.
Yeah.
So that was hostel number two, and I don't really remember much about hostel number two because I didn't like being there, and the food was
Okay.
kind of shit, stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Hostel number three is
Yeah.
after graduating high school, and I decided to be more serious about studying, and then I went to this coaching thing, and I got this small house. I had this roommate. We'll get to the roommate in a bit,
Yeah.
okay?
That's a separate question I have. Don't worry. Don't worry. That's a
Yeah,
separate question. Yeah.
we'll get to that roommate. And then final hostel is my current campus hostel, my college hostel, my university hostel. So
Right.
that's a different experience. That's like compared to all the other hostels, it's the best infrastructure and everything, and the guys are all fine, and my
And that's where
college
you were
is like.
staying before you came to your apartment, right? Before the lockdown. That's where you were.
Yeah. I was in hostel. So so the thing about my campus is it's like in the middle of a forest. You know, it's like one of the tourist locations. It's like Taif. It's a
Yeah.
it's a
Okay.
high place, lots
Like
of
on the
rain, lots of
outskirts. Yeah.
yeah, lots of forest. So there's a lot of animals and stuff that do all kinds of shenanigans. It's a beautiful place. It's beautiful. It's insanely beautiful. Okay. So I'm really lucky because medical colleges don't have really good hostels when you look at everything.
Yeah.
But for some reason, my hostel number four is like paradise.
That's really good to hear,
And
man.
yeah, what about you? How was it after in university?
So my yeah, because we'll get to the specifics as we progress through the episode. But so I lived in the dorms on campus as soon as I was done with high school, and then I moved to UAE for a university. I got into the dorms, right? And when I got into the dorms, we have different types of rooms in the dorms. We have something called semi-private. We have sharing. We have private stuff. Many different combinations. So like just to make you understand, semi-private is when you guys have one there's one like you could not apartment but you could say like one okay you could call it an apartment, and it has a shared kitchen and a shared
Yeah.
bathroom, but they're two separate, like each of the two guys have their own rooms. Okay, that's semi-private. Private is you just live
Okay.
alone, you have your own kitchen, you have your own bathroom within your room. That's private. Sharing is everything is shared. There's one bathroom. There's no barricade for the rooms. Like you can see the other guy sleeping and you're sleeping, and then there's one shared bathroom, and then you have one small kitchen. That's sharing, right? When I was
Okay.
applying for the housing, I wrote my name down in private. Okay,
Yeah.
and then when I got an email from the campus, the like residency office, they said that you've successfully reserved a room for sharing. I'm like, what the hell? I applied for private. Why is sharing? And then I'm like, why am I going for sharing? And it's like, actually, somebody wrote your name as their roommate in sharing. Like, who is that? Like, and then Omar was my roommate.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
yeah, so Omar was my roommate. So he wrote my name down. And I remember him telling me, he's like, when I was writing your name down, they asked me, who do you want your roommate to be if there's already someone? He said Shawki. And they said, which Shawki? And it's like, that's the first time someone asked me which Shawki, because I always, Shawki is such like a, such a rare name, but
Oh.
apparently in the
Yeah.
Middle East, in UAE, there are a lot of Shawkis. Like, which Shawki? Like, this
Oh my
one
God.
Shawki
There's
is that.
another Shawki. Oh my God.
There were three apparently.
Oh.
So he said there were three
Oh my
Shawkis. Like,
God.
oh, so it's like, no, there's only one Shawki is that. So I went for a sharing room with Omar in the dorms, and it was a crazy experience because we were we didn't know at the time, but we went to the dorms that we ended up going to was like the oldest dorm in terms of the
Yeah.
infrastructure. It's called AB, right? And it was like an open dorm in the sense that as soon as you get out, right, there's grass there. It's like
Okay.
in Three Idiots, there's like a square block and there's like an open grass area, and the entire perimeter is just rooms.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the typical,
Yeah.
like even ISJ, how they have like the play, like the
Yeah.
field is in the
Yeah.
middle,
It's
and
the
then
same. It's the
yeah,
same
that,
thing.
that they have two floors. That's what the oldest dorm was like, and it was an open dorm. So uh lived there for in the dorms for like I want to say 2 or 2.5 years, and then I moved out of the dorms. I changed the dorms midway, like, and I'll get to that. And then I moved out and I lived off campus, and I lived off campus till I graduated. Let's
Yeah.
get into
Yeah.
the stories right now.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
you mentioned roommates, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you start off by telling me a story that involved a roommate or a particular roommate, and also tell me like what was the situation like? Were there two guys in one room or four guys, or like what was that thing like? And a story essentially
Okay,
on
different
roommates.
hostels, it was different. So I've had three roommates, I've had six roommates at the same time. So it's different because there's no kitchens in our hostels. Okay, we don't have a kitchen. We have a common eating area. Someone else prepares the food. We eat it like that. Okay. Otherwise, we have to
Okay, like a
go
mess.
outside. We can like order stuff in, or we can go out to eat, something like that. Okay. So, so the roommate, everything depends. Your hostel, everything depends on the roommate. Okay, if you've got a badass guy as your roommate, everything's okay. Everything's set. Okay, if the guy's an asshole, man, you're screwed, man. You're like, okay. And I've had like a horrible roommate. Okay, he's not a bad person, but he's a he's a very different person from who I am. So one of the positive things about hostels is that you meet a lot of people. Okay, and you would think that, like, personally speaking, like me, I was in a bubble. Like there's a bubble. Like like from our time in school, like most of us believe
Right.
in the same things. Most of us like the same things. Okay,
Sure.
we have
Yeah.
individual differences, but the spark difference between us is not that great. Okay, it's very small. But then you see a dude who doesn't believe anything you believe in, who is literally against everything you believe in, and he doesn't like your way of thinking, he doesn't like you. Yeah, and then you're like sitting there and like imagining, what did I do wrong in my past life? And you're imagining stuff like that. And okay, everything comes down to the roommates. Okay, so when I got into college, like the only thing I prayed for, okay, I didn't care about the studies, I didn't care about graduating, I didn't care about anything. I was like, God, please give me good roommates. Okay, and I don't know, some lucky break I got there, because currently I have four roommates. Okay, and they're like brothers. Okay, I just love
Wow.
them. They're like really, really amazing. So our layout is a little different. We have two rooms, okay, and there's one bathroom in between, okay, a shower and the the toilet and the sink and all the stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
That's common between six people, okay.
Right.
So it's two rooms, three people in each room, okay.
Okay.
So one of my roommates actually moved out. So it was six people initially, but then it came down to like five guys.
Yeah.
So right now there's me and four other people.
Right.
Okay, you want a crazy story? Okay, so what happened is like we have a cat. Okay, so there's this cat.
Okay.
So it's not like our cat. It's like a common cat. Okay, so
A stray cat.
not a stray cat. It like it's we didn't breed it or we didn't buy it or anything. It like came to us as a kitten and then we just raised it. Okay, so yeah, basically it's a stray cat.
It's a stray cat. That's what it is, man. No, it's not a stray cat. We just found it on the street. We took care of it. Oh, okay. Go on.
Okay, so it was black in color. Okay, so it was like really dark. It's one of those Salem cats. You've seen those cats, right? Like the
Yeah,
witches
yeah,
have them. It's like that.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I called it Lucifer, like because of the devil. Okay, so it was Lucifer,
Yes.
and Lucifer was very very violent sort of cat. Okay,
Okay.
so I was like, Lucifer is a man's man. It's a man's cat. Okay, and we used to chase around Lucifer. We used to feed him and stuff like that. And one day Lucifer got pregnant. Okay.
You know, if someone watched this particular part of the podcast without any context, they'd just be like so frightened right now. Yeah, we fed Lucifer. Lucifer was doing well, and then one day Lucifer got angry. Okay, so Lucifer got
Lucifer got
Lucifer is a
knocked
child,
up.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so like when I found out, like it's difficult because we can't like grab Lucifer and look at it. Okay. So I was like running around. I'm like, is it getting fatter? And I'm like asking people, like, cat's getting fatter, right? It's getting fatter, and everybody's like, yeah, I think like it's getting fatter, yeah. And then we had like this kind of meeting, and then we decided
Yeah.
to change the cat's name to Lucy because obviously it's a female. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, Lucy and I was very close. Okay, she was my cat, and she was very close. So my roommates, one of my roommates was okay with it. One of my roommates hates cats. Okay, he hates cats. Okay, he doesn't like the sound, whatever it is, he hates them. So Lucifer's first group of kittens got delivered. Okay, and then
Did you help
she
with the
was
delivery,
okay.
doctor?
No, I didn't. I didn't even see the first group of them. But the second time she got pregnant, like that's when we got really close. You know,
Okay.
Lucy became a
Lucy.
lot more. Lucy became a lot more social and a lot more friendly. Okay,
Right.
and then like so one fine day, like we're searching for Lucy and we can't find Lucy. Okay, she's gone.
Yeah.
She's missing. Okay, I got this another sadistic friend. Okay, his name is Vinayak. I don't know if he'll see this, but he's sadistic. So he's like, I can't wait for the kittens to come. I'm gonna kill them. Okay. Well, he might be joking. He might not be joking. I'm not sure. I don't want to risk it. So I'm like hiding the cat from this dude. Okay. So the cat's missing. The cat's missing, and then so at night, one night, my roommate who's afraid of cats, he wakes up in the middle of the night to, I don't know, do what, and he finds Lucy just sitting in the middle of the room just looking at him. Okay, and so he's like put off with it, and he's scared and he doesn't know what to do. So he goes to the toilet. Okay, and then he comes back. The cat vanishes. Okay,
Okay.
and then and then progressively during the nights we're waking up to the sounds of the cat. Okay, and we don't know what's happening. Okay, so so one Sunday, I guess everyone's in the hostel, like we're just sleeping, and this guy, he goes to grab something from under his bed. Okay, and suddenly the cat just shoots out, okay, from under the bed, and it like runs away. And he's like, holy shit. Like, and then he just searches around inside his suitcase kind of thing, and the cat's given birth in the suitcase. Okay, and there's like four kittens in the suitcase, and he's cursing in the morning. Everyone is sleeping. He's cursing his
This is the
ass
guy
off.
who doesn't like cats.
Yeah, he's a guy who doesn't like cats. Like our beds are separate. Okay, his bed is like alone. So the cat has to have like some kind of GPS sort of location to go right under his bed and like give birth. Okay.
Yeah.
uh, so he woke me up and he's cursing like crazy. It's your fault. You're the one who did it. Yeah, I got accused of a lot of things that day. Okay. Uh, yeah, and then so the kittens, we let the kittens stay there for a few days, and then it became a little bit of a problem with this dude might step on it or something like that. So we had to move the kittens to a safe location. Yeah, so yeah, that's the story. That's a nice story.
Lucy, basically. What about the father of Lucy's children?
Oh, we've seen him, but we don't know like if he's the father or not. He's this big cat. He's big cat, but I told you right. The campus is like in the middle of the forest, so we have no way of being sure who's the dad at this point. Okay.
So he just knocked her up over to the two batches and he bounced them.
No, not just two. It's like this happened, I think, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, yeah. So batch number three was on the way when the lockdown started, and I hear
So he
batch number
kept, so
four.
the same guy kept, the same cat kept knocking her up and kept bouncing back and forth for like 3 years, essentially. That's what you're telling me.
We have
What
no
an
idea of
ass.
confirming if it's him or not. I have no idea who it is. So
What, did
this
he have a
is
name?
no, I don't know if we gave him a name. He was like the Bigfoot of the hostels. We just rarely see him.
Wow.
So
So yeah, that's a good story. You mentioned the whole thing about the roommates, right? Like if you have a good dynamic with your roommate, then it could
yeah,
make for some fun times. If you have a bad dynamic, then it could be a problem.
yeah,
So I'm gonna start off with one of the, because I have so many stories. I'm gonna start off with one story with Umar. So what had happened was, being roommates with someone is in many ways being married to someone. And when I was told this, when I was told this, I was like, that's bogus. And then I started noticing like subtle things, and I was like, okay, like because we had two straight guys who would go grocery shopping together. Like, okay, hey, did you get the groceries? Like, no, okay, we should get the groceries this weekend. Like, yeah, we should get the groceries this weekend. Like, okay, hey, does this shirt? How do I look in the shirt? Like, yeah, you look fine in the shirt, I guess. Okay, and slowly that realization started coming in. Like, okay, oh, my sister's telling me the truth. Like, yeah, it is like getting married because you're living essentially with someone. It's the first time you're doing something of that caliber, but so we went grocery shopping once because in my dorms the food situation was that we didn't have like a mess system, right?
Yeah,
We had a few food outlets on campus that you could go eat at, and they were like my university was also in the industrial area, so it's quite isolated from the city. Now, I mean, compared to back when I joined, a lot of food outlets have opened even nearby, and it's becoming like a populated area. But back then, it was just sand. Like there was hardly anything else nearby. Like a few shops here and there
okay,
for chai and stuff, like a few sandwich shops, but that's it. Now there's like a mall and stuff being built, but uh, so essentially, our source of food was to order food from nearby food outlets. So we called McDonald's, we called Burger King, and pizza, stuff like that. So in the beginning, it was like this is the dream. Like we're eating outside like 24/7. Like this is amazing. But then you reach a point where like junk food doesn't even taste good anymore. Like you can actually feel it
yeah,
hurt you when you're eating. Like if you keep eating on a
yeah,
constant basis. So we told ourselves like we need to start cooking now. But the problem with our dorm situation was that we didn't have like a gas. We had a hot plate within our room.
yeah. The
The hot
electric
plates
thing.
heating, yeah, the hot plates heating system was abysmal. Like even at the most intense setting, it would be really slow. So we had like a lot of failures when it came to cooking, which would really turn us off, and we would be like, let's end up ordering from outside anyway. But one day we were really determined, and we are like, no, we need to start saving money and we need to start cooking. So okay, so we went to the grocery store. We're like, okay, let's start with something simple. Let's start with Maggie, something, right?
Yeah,
So got Maggie, got the noodles, and like, okay, let's buy a pot, let's buy Maggie, let's buy a spoon, let's buy bowls, let's buy all this stuff. So we get the stuff, we come back, and the next day we start cooking. And it was like a surgery situation because I was a chef. Omar's with the polythene bag, handing me the things one by one. So I'm like, okay, pot, he gives me the pot, like I wash the pot, and I put it on the thing, and I heat like, okay, Maggie, break the Maggie box, put it there, okay. Jug, gives me a jug, so I pour in the water and it's boiling now. I'm like, okay, it's boiling, great. I added the spices, everything. And like spoon, he gives me the spoon and I stir the spoon. Okay. And I'm like, sieve. And then I don't get anything. Like sieve. And then I look at Omar and he looks at the polythene and it's empty. So we forgot to buy a sieve that we would use to drain the Maggi. Okay.
Yeah,
We didn't get that. So like, what the hell do we do now? Because we made Maggi for 2 people. And we can't just drain. We can try draining the water directly into the sink, but there'll still be some water that will be retained in the Maggi, right?
yeah.
So me being an engineer, what I decided to do is I took a disposable bowl and I poked holes in it, right?
Yeah, oh, okay,
And I was like, okay,
ingenious.
now I'm going to use this as I thought it was a genius move. The problem was that the instrument that I used to poke holes was a pencil. So the radius of the holes made the spaghetti itself fall out of the sieve that I. So I was like, oh, no. So I would drain it and then put it back and then drain it and put it back. And I did this maybe 7 times. And after doing it 7 times, it still had some water. And I was frustrated. I'm like, you know what? Like, especially in India, like there's something like a soup Maggie. So that's kind of cool. So this can be a soup Maggie, Like, okay,
Yeah.
fine. So we sat down and we started eating the Maggie, right? And I just took one bite of the Maggie and it was so awful. Like we have 3 dishes that we consider to be one of the worst food that we've had in our lives. This is one of them. We call it sewer Maggie. Okay. Because something you'd find in the sewer. So I tried eating and I'm like, I can't eat this, And I'm usually very picky with my food. Omar is less picky. And Omar is a guy who he's like, no, we have, like, I don't want to waste anything. And he took one bite and he's like, I could see the expression on his face, like he had a hard time. So he took a ketchup bottle to kind of make it more edible. He put some ketchup and he ate it. And then I saw Omar putting some more ketchup and ate it. Omar emptied like a ketchup bottle this big just to eat that. And he still couldn't eat it. Like, I can't eat this. So we ended up ordering food from outside anyway. So that was a food story. That's the sewage Maggie. How we
Yeah,
made
funny.
sewage Maggie.
Funny you should mention Maggie because Maggie is the first experiment that many people have with
Yeah.
cooking. Like a lot of people, it's always Maggie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Because there's no way
remember
you could
mine
screw it
was.
up, but I still managed to screw it up.
Yeah, I don't understand how you could because Maggie is different from Indomie. You remember Indomie is
Yeah, see, the cup noodles is fine because you just pour hot water, you close it, and then that's it. This was like because we were like, no, we gotta cook, man. We're not gonna do this like high school stuff. We're gonna take a pot. We're gonna cut vegetables and stuff, and we did that.
Oh, okay. You put vegetables and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
like we cooked.
Okay.
Didn't turn out that well though.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Oh, I haven't cooked for my friends yet. Like I live alone, so cooking is like part of the thing. But I got training from home, stuff like that, to cook. So I haven't had
Yeah, that was the whole cooking thing. There was another, like I said, the 3 food items that haunt us. So that was sewage Maggie. That's
yeah.
one. Another thing is what
Okay.
we like to call rat poison hummus. Okay.
Oh. Okay, look,
What
this is
rat?
getting way too interesting, man. You gotta continue. All three.
Yeah, rat poison hummus is, again, we're like, we can't just keep ordering food from outside. So, but we're also shared cooking. So what do we do? It's like, okay, let's find a middle ground. Let's go to the supermarket and let's buy, you have these pre-made sauces and stuff. So they sell hummus
Yeah.
on campus. Let's buy hummus. And it came in a can, right? It's like this red can. And there was like the font was like, I think what was the font? It's the most generic font you have. I think Times New Roman. That's what they used to like design the label. And I was like, okay, so this kind of looks weird, and it was kind of cheap too. Like when we like, okay, it's like it was $5 or something. Like, okay, no, I don't know, let's try this. And when I opened the can, right, I saw a lot of water on the top surface level. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then when I poured it out, it kind of came out in the shape and it started like wobbling on its own. And we're like, okay, this doesn't look very appetizing. And then we tried eating the rat poison hummus, right? And it was worse than sewage Maggie. And we had the next day, by the way, we had sewage Maggie the day before that, and next day when we tried to make a compromise, we had rat poison hummus. So
Wait, why
it
is it
just kept
called
getting
rat
worse
poison?
because it tasted awful. That's the term that's the thing we coined. Like rats wouldn't eat this. It's rat poison hummus.
Okay.
You could kill a rat, and usually, like I said, right, if I don't like something, like I can't eat this. And Umar's like, no, we have to eat this. And even he agreed with me. So like, no, we can't eat this. So again, we end up ordering from outside. Like, okay, we can't do this. Let's go out McDonald's. So that's rat poison hummus. And after rat poison hummus, we're like, no, you know what? We have to make our own hummus. But we didn't have a processor. So what we did is we went to the store again. We bought chickpeas, like actual chickpeas. Like no, we're not buying any of that pre-made nonsense. We're buying actual chickpeas. We're buying tahini sauce. We're buying olive oil, and then we're gonna soak the stuff and we're gonna make hummus. But we didn't have a food processor. We realized that after we got back to the room.
Yeah.
How the hell do we do? Because we're not gonna mash the chickpeas into a paste. That'll take ages. So what we decided to do is Omar had a blender. Okay, and what we used to share a lot of devices. Like, okay, I have a sandwich maker. You have a blender. So whenever you want, you can use my sandwich maker, and I can use my blender. But we had like a rule though. The rule was if you use my electronic device, you have to clean it.
Oh.
When we're doing the dishes, you have to clean it.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So we didn't if I can't stand a dirty sink, right? I have to wash my dishes then, and Umar leaves the dishes usually, right? Or if it's like, if we come to an agreement, like okay, if you're cooking, I'll do the dishes. If I'm cooking, you do the dishes. Something like that. There's always an agreement. I'm telling you, man, it's like getting married. That's what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah.
So we were like, let's cook. Let's do the hummus. Okay. And I'm like, okay, I'll make the hummus. So you wash the blender. Like, fine. I put the chickpeas, and it wasn't a food processor. And the blade was like this big, The blade was this big, and we had like 2 cans worth of chickpeas that we poured into the blender. So we had to shake the blender, and we'd see it. And then we ended up mashing and blending the thing. We avoided the whole mashing thing. We took a blender to like kind of avoid the labor of mashing it with our hands. But because we didn't have the right instruments, we ended up doing both. But that was our first successful item of cooking. It actually tasted good, and we were so happy. Like, wow, this tastes great. Yeah, it came out well. The problem was after we're done eating, Umar had to wash it, right? And hummus is so like thick and viscous that Umar was able to wash everything except hummus beneath the blades. And his blender is such a instrument that you can't, like, usually you have this thing where you can unlock the bottom, right, and clean it and then put it back. He had one of the old blenders, so it was stuck there. So he had to put his hand through the thing and try cleaning it, and he spent, I think, a good 40 minutes trying to do that, trying to clean just one blender. And he had a midterm the next day, I think. So whenever we would bring up, after that day, whenever we brought up, hey, so you want to cook hummus? Like, we can have hummus. Like no, if you're cooking hummus, you're cleaning it basically. You want to use my blender, do whatever you want, but you'll clean it. Okay, so because it was such a labor to clean, that we're like, okay, we made hummus twice and we let it go. Right, so we covered sewage Maggie, covered rat poison hummus and good hummus.
Yeah.
And then
number three
does not involve either of us cooking. Number 3 is when we got tired of eating McDonald's and pizza and Hardee's and KFC. We're like, we need a change. But like I mentioned, there are a lot of small places that open near our campus, and there's a lot of controversy regarding these small places in terms of hygiene, right?
Okay.
So it's a gamble basically that you'll be, if there are no reviews on the street, you'll have to try and find out for yourself. So there's like this, so like, we hadn't had like roti or khubz in ages, man. Like after going to the dorms, we're like, oh, we really miss that food, that kind of food that we grew up eating. Okay, let's try this place. So we ordered like kebab, and we ordered like naan, and we tried that, right? And Umar was adamant on this place. Like, okay, let's try this place. And so he took a bite of the chicken, right? And he couldn't chew the chicken.
Oh.
The chicken was really rubbery, and he couldn't chew the chicken. He's like, what the hell is this? And this is worse than the chicken we cooked, which is another chicken. And that's what I'm telling you. We have so many stories. Another thing. This is worse than the chicken we tried cooking. And then he's like, I somehow was able to gulp things down. Like that was the first time where I ate something and Omar didn't. It was like, I can't eat this. I can't eat this food, because like even the you couldn't tear the naan. Like you try splitting the naan in half and then only a little bit would break out. And like it was really weird. Like it was like a cheese naan, and then like you lift it up and then there's like some black stuff at the back, and it was like a really it was a we had the first reviews basically of the place. So every time someone considered ordering from there, we'd be like, don't do that, because we've seen some shit.
Yeah.
But the chicken thing, so this is the last cooking thing I'll mention, the chicken thing,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So in our second semester, what we decided to do was we wanted to bring a change in ourselves physically. So we're like, you know what we're gonna do? We're in a prime, so we're gonna hit the gym now. That's what we're gonna do.
Okay. Okay.
But gym alone is not enough. You gotta have a good diet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what do buff people eat? Buff people eat chicken. Buff people buff, buff
Okay.
people eat
Okay.
chicken. Buff people
Yeah.
eat potato, but not just any potato. They eat sweet potato, and buff people eat quinoa. That's what they eat. Like, okay,
I do.
so we went there. We're like, okay, let's buy the stuff. He's like, but how are we gonna cook chicken in the hot plate? Because we've had so many failures with that. We're not gonna buy a hot plate. We're gonna buy a grill. So we went out to the store. We
Okay.
split the cost of an electric grill, and we got it. And then the thing that was kind of motivating us as we were cooking, we're like, okay, we'll start meal prepping now, because that's what
Okay.
a lot of these athletes do, right? They
Yeah.
they cook their food in bulk for like
Yeah.
3 days or for
One
the
day for
week,
cooking.
put it
Yeah.
in containers, and they eat that. Let's do
Yeah.
that. And so we're like, since we're cooking in like batches, we got the entire tray of chicken breast, which was like six chicken breasts or something. We're like, okay, this will last three yours, three mine, and this will last for like 3 days. So I'll
Yeah.
cook the chicken breast, you cook the sweet potatoes, and then you cook the quinoa too. And
Yeah. Okay.
when we are cutting the sweet potato, right? Apparently, when you cut the sweet potato, for some reason it started turning black. Okay, I don't know why. Like it's supposed to be orange from the inside, right? But when you cut it, it started turning black. So we're like, what the hell is this? Because like, is potato supposed to do this? Like when you cut it instantly, does it turn black? Like is it like is there iron or something? Like how apples turn black? Like no, I don't think there's iron in potatoes. But so we wasted one potato that way. So like no, we need to find a loophole. So what we decided to do is we took a bowl of water and we put the next potato inside that. So like, okay, maybe the air is doing something to this. So let's cut the potato underwater. So maybe like that. And then we cut it underwater and it turned even blacker. Okay. But we
Okay.
convinced ourselves that, maybe that's what sweet potatoes like, because we didn't have any experience with eating sweet potato. Like, maybe it's fine. It's normal. So just keep cutting the sweet potato to cubes and we'll boil the sweet potato. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So he took care of the sweet potato, and I was, after marinating the chicken, I started cooking the chicken. Now, the thing about chicken breast is that chicken, you need to really understand the internal temperature of chicken to make sure it's cooked right. So
Yeah.
unless you have like a lot of experience and you can like eyeball if a chicken is done or not, you're not going to cook juicy chicken breast. We didn't have any instruments and we didn't have the experience. So we were like, okay, you put it on one side. If it gets brown, you flip it. You put it on the other side. If it gets brown, it's cooked. So we did that.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't bother tasting it. I'm like, okay, I cooked all six of them and then I put it on, like, now let's taste it. And we had like a fork and a butter knife, because like, oh, it's going to be so
Yeah.
smooth because we're going to cut into it.
Okay.
And I had a disposable utensils, obviously, right? So I put the fork in and I take the knife, right? And I apply some pressure and the knife breaks. So I'm like, and then I look up at Omar, I'm like, what? Okay. And then we get another knife and then I have to apply more pressure and I try cutting it in and I eat it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to chew it and I'm trying to chew it. I'm not able to chew it. And Omar's looking at my face like, how is it good? Is it good? Because we started cooking at like 7 p.m., which was Maghrib time, right? And since we're cooking in
Yeah.
bulk, it was 4 a.m. now, by the way, because we're cooking a lot of
Okay.
stuff in bulk and we're storing them. So it's 4 a.m. So we stayed up the entire night, like, okay. And he's like, is it good? Like, is the chicken fine? And like, yeah, it's okay. Like, let me try it. And then he tried some of it and he just looked at me. He's like, this is what we're going to eat for the next 3 days. Like, because now we got to eat it. We have the Tupperware containers. We have this, and we're determined. Like, no, man. Even if it tastes bad, we have to eat this stuff because we want. That's how you get the body you want, right? So we put the black potatoes and the rubber chicken in those Tupperware containers, and I would carry those containers with me whenever I went to campus. Like, okay, and take it out, and it gets cold basically, right?
Yeah.
The already rubbery chicken is now not only rubbery but it's cold when I would eat it. So I was like,
Yeah.
this is like it was just like it was a workout within itself to kind of chew the chicken. So in terms of cooking, we had a lot of awful experiences when it came to cooking, and and after that point, we're like, let's just stop cooking and just eat from outside anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm curious about why the potato turned black.
I don't know
Uh,
because I never had that situation again with another sweet potato. I don't know why.
yeah, turning black. I've never heard of that. Like I've cooked chicken before, like not in college or anything. Like we don't we don't do that in college. Okay. Yeah. So I've cooked it at home. Like so what we used to do is put it in a pressure cooker and then just
Yeah,
put spices in and then let the
yeah,
water evaporate.
right.
So the thing just like you put very little water in it. So just it steams itself and then everything like gets dry and then it sort of like gets grilled also like a little.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
actually not a good way to cook it. Like if you don't know the timing properly, like it's gonna get screwed.
yeah,
But then I
yeah. No,
used to do
I
it like that.
recently just got a thermometer to make sure I can cook chicken right. So that's what I do now. Inject a thermometer. Okay, when it reaches 155 degrees Fahrenheit, that's when it's done. So then for the
Yeah,
internal temperature. Yeah. So that was the cooking stuff. I have so many stories, but not just cooking. I'm kind of trying to tell you the highlights. There's one roommate. Yeah. Again, since we're already before I move on to the next roommate with Umar, a lot of stories with Umar.
yeah,
So the thing about Umar is that Umar was scared of uh, anything that wasn't human in terms of
yeah.
species. Like he didn't like cats, he didn't like ants, he didn't like any sort of life form, but he wasn't
uh,
scared of spirit. So he wasn't scared of spiritual entities, but he was scared of
yeah.
cats. Okay.
Okay.
So what had happened, and they were, since our dorms was open, we had a lot of
Yeah.
insects coming in and out of our dorm room, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Like when I checked in, the first thing I saw underneath my mattress was a dead lizard.
Oh fuck! Oh my god! Can I
Yeah,
curse? I mean, I can't curse,
yeah,
right?
you
Like,
can curse. No, you can curse. It's
yeah.
fine.
Okay. Okay. That's horrible.
So, so it was an open dorm. There's a lot of insects and stuff. So, and the thing about our dorms, like I said, it's the oldest dorms, right? The the air conditioning was not like, it was like centralized for the entire building.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was like we didn't even have a remote in our room. Like we just had an on and
Okay.
off button, and we struggled with that a lot because often the temperature in Sharjah would reach like 53 degrees or 54 degrees,
Okay.
and the ACs wouldn't work. And it would be a centralized system, and it would be a nightmare. So once what happened, what I'm telling you about this whole centralized system is, it was night, and something was flying in the room. Okay, and Omar was panicking, like, what the hell is that? What's flying in the room? And I switched on the lights, because I like sleeping with the lights switched off, like all the lights switched off. And Omar liked
Okay.
sleeping with some light, some source of light. So he's like, no,
Yeah.
can you switch one light on, like the small light, so it's some lights going, so I don't want complete darkness. I'm like, okay, fine. So all the lights, like through that source of light, Omar saw something flying. So he's like, get up, get
Mm.
up, get up, there's something flying. I'm like, okay. I switch on the lights, and there's a butterfly in the room. and uh,
Oh.
and I'm like, oh, like, wow, it's like so pretty. It's like blue and stuff. It's blue. And then as I'm observing the butterfly, right, I look at Umar, and Umar removes one of his slippers and has it in his hand ready. He's prepared, right? So Umar walks up, and the butterfly is just hovering over Umar's bed, not my bed, because the
Yeah.
beds are facing each other. So he's trying to get the butterfly. He's trying to get the butterfly, and he's so locked in, right? He When he attempts to hit the butterfly, he kind of loses his balance. So he trips from his bed, and the slipper
Yeah.
flies out of his hand, and he falls on the floor, right, on his
Okay.
back.
Okay.
But as the slipper flips, the slipper somehow manages to hit the butterfly, and it kills the butterfly basically, right? And the butterfly's corpse falls on Umar's bed. So,
Oh
so
my God.
now he's like Homer's going haywire because now the butterfly's dead bodies on his bed. So he takes tissue papers. He's like throw this and he cleans his sheets, puts new sheets on. But when he hit the butterfly with the slipper, there's like the butterfly's blood is kind of against the wall, Homer's wall. Okay, so why this detail is important is because every semester, whenever we are done with the semester, right, we are supposed to check out of the dorms. So what would happen is we would when we're traveling outside or we're done with the semester, we would tell the supervisors like, hey, we're checking out right now, and they would have to come and inspect the room, and they would inspect the room to
Yeah.
see if there are no damages done, because if the damage is done to the room, then they'll charge you for it. And that was
Yeah. Okay.
there were never any damages done, but they try to like suck money out of students anyway.
Yeah. 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 That happens
uh,
everywhere. Yeah.
so the supervisor came to the room and he just like, he's trying to scrutinize every minor thing. And
Yeah.
he sees the stain against Umar's wall. He's like, the stain wasn't
Yeah.
here when you guys checked in. Like, you'll be charged for this. And Umar's like, oh, I don't want to pay anything for this. Like, just give me 5 minutes. So the guy goes away, and Umar goes to our bathroom and grabs not soap, because soap was over. He grabs a shampoo bottle. Okay,
Yeah.
he platters shampoo all over the wall and he starts scrubbing it, right? And somehow instead of cleaning it, he smears it all over it ends up getting smeared basically against the wall.
Yeah.
So now there's like even a bigger stain. Before it was like
Yeah.
this, it was more prominent, like the resolution was higher, but now the resolution is blurred, but like you can see it bigger. But kept scrubbing, and somehow using shampoo he managed to get rid of the stain.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, I
Wow.
won't be charged for this. He's like, okay, I'm not going to be charged for this. So he tells the supervisor, you can't charge me for this. I remove the stain, and okay, fine. So that was
Wow. I
with.
mean, Umar wouldn't survive in India. Yeah, I don't think he would survive here.
No, personally, I hate insects myself. Like, if there's a cockroach or a lizard in my room, I'm screaming, man. Like, I hate that stuff. But uh, yeah, butterfly, I don't want to
Okay,
kill a
and
butterfly, man.
so there's the insect thing with my colleges. Like most of the dudes, it's like it's seen as like you're a girl if you scream at insects and stuff. Okay, so people are like, yeah, you're basically a pussy if you like scream and stuff. But there's this one thing that I don't like: cockroaches. Okay, like I have a phobia of cockroaches.
Especially
Just
the flying
cockroaches.
ones.
No, not flying ones. Even like a small one that's like a little big. Okay, it's a phobia. Like I like insects. Okay, I like butterflies. I like moths. I like those grasshoppers, and I like studying them and taking photos and stuff like that. Okay, but cockroaches are horrible. Okay, I don't know what it is. It's just like something happens. Okay, so my roommates don't know this. Okay, so I'm like trying to hide it because cockroach thing is not that.
Yeah, because you'll be labeled. They'll throw you under the bus, and you'll be a man
Yeah,
if you're scared.
so I'm like a pretty big guy. Okay, I'm pretty fat and I'm like a big guy. So this big guy is scared of a cockroach and people are like waiting to make fun of you for it. Okay, so what happens? I'm trying really hard to not let people find out about it, and then one day this thing appears. Okay, this small black thing appears in my cupboard. Like, so my roommate is there. His name is Raver. Okay, his real name is something else, but we'll call him Raver because
Okay.
his real name is it's
That's
Rajen
fine.
Subramaniam. Okay, it's like we'll call him Raver.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so Raver doesn't know of my phobia. Okay, and he's looking at it and laughing. Okay, there's a cockroach. Ha ha ha. He's laughing at it, and like I'm screaming. He's like he took a shower or something. I think he was in his like the towel. Okay, just the towel,
Yeah.
and I'm screaming looking at it. Okay, and he's like laughing, and it's not going to do anything. It's not going to do anything. I'm going to catch it with
Yeah.
my hand and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
so this is when something happens to me. I snap. Okay, and then I took off my slipper and I'm aiming at the cockroach. Okay,
Okay.
and unfortunately I hit Raver on the back. Okay, now ordinarily like Raver is a pretty nice guy. Okay, so
Yeah.
so he's like he didn't say anything. Okay, and then I
Yeah.
hit him really hard on his back. Okay, and
Yeah.
then he's like, he was trying to put it on me or something like that. Okay, so
Yeah.
I hit him really hard, and then he's screaming. Okay, and that's when all the other people come and find out my great secret. Okay, and I'm like screaming. Okay, so I could, like, like run away, but then that would be seen as like being a, scary cat. So my solution was to hit Raver again. Okay. Okay. So you need to understand, I was like in shock, okay, like half shock sort of state. Okay, so I'm the biggest guy in my room. Okay, so it was pretty hilarious for everyone to like look at me screaming like a girl, not for Raver because I hit him really hard. Okay, and he's like losing his mind. When I hit him the second time, okay, he just grabs the cockroach, he goes outside and sacrifices it to the gods. Okay. Uh, so why I'm bringing this up is like, so it got established that like I'm scared of cockroaches. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is like the weapon of choice of my enemies.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Your
it's like,
Achilles heel, basically. Yeah.
yeah, my Achilles heel is a cockroach. So there's
Yeah.
a tradition in our college, like in my batch, it's like when it's your birthday, you're like a slave. Okay,
That's a
everybody
pretty
gets,
terrible tradition, man.
yeah, it's fun if it's not your birthday.
Okay.
So like, so one of the people who enjoys this tradition a little bit too much is me. Okay, I enjoy it a little bit too much. So basically what you do is like, birthday bumps, right?
Yeah.
Birthday bumps, we give birthday bumps. Okay, okay, like imagine like ragging. This is ragging. Okay,
Okay.
like on the birthday we rag the dude. Okay, like for example, like we painted, so this guy was a raver itself, a raver. We bring raver in. So what I did was like, we made him strip to his underwear. Okay, I bought paints. Okay, and we started drawing stuff on him. Okay, so like I'm the main artist, right? So I draw this huge penis right on his chest. Okay, a huge one, and like everybody's writing stuff all over his body, like making homophobic jokes and stuff like that, all over his body. Okay, and we finished the painting thing, and this is all my idea. Okay, and
Yeah,
then at
clearly.
that moment, uh, at that moment, the warden comes in. Okay, and he sees this guy, and he has this huge penis on him, and the guy's just smiling. And the warden, like, he has this register to check if the students are there or not. It's like
Yeah, that attendance, right?
takes, yeah, the attendance thing. So he looks at the attendant, he looks at him, and he closes it. He's like, I'm done with this shit, and he walks away. Okay. So yeah, and then we parade the dude all around the hostel, seniors, juniors, everybody sees him like in this way. So
Yeah.
so this is the kind of shenanigans that I pull with my friends. Okay. So the time came for my birthday. Okay,
Yeah.
and like I mentioned, 54 dudes, right? 56 guys. So most of them have bad experiences because of me. Okay, and they're just waiting for this birthday to come, and
Yeah.
they're planning everything. They make this WhatsApp group and stuff, and they add me. Okay, and they're planning stuff. And like when it gets really crazy, they kick me out. Okay, and I'm like
Wow.
speculating, like I don't know what's gonna happen, stuff like that. So usually it's just on the birthday. Okay, it's just one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mine was 3 days. Okay, first was me as a belly dancer. No, first was like first was just birthday bumps. Like random people come hit you
Okay.
and go, and slave
Yeah.
work. You wash clothes, you clean the room, stuff like that. Okay, all nice stuff.
Okay.
Second day was Mehendi day. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Remember the painting? Well,
Okay.
paint goes away when you wash it, right? So some
Okay.
genius, some genius had the idea to do a
Use Mehendi.
mehendi work on me. It's like,
Yes.
so basically everything that I did to them was on
Yeah.
my body. Okay, everywhere it was like everywhere. Okay? And
Yeah.
it didn't go. Okay, and the final night, my actual birthday was was me as a belly dancer. Okay, so they made this
Yes.
costume. So I mentioned like I have a lot of girls who are friends. Okay, so uh, so they took a special interest in torturing me. Okay, so they went out and they bought all the dresses and everything. They bought this
So you did a
nighties,
belly
right?
dance in a dress.
No, wait. I'm just getting there. Okay. So there's a nightie. They got me this brazier kind of thing. Okay. This very big bra. And then there's underwear. And then they actually stitched together ribbons to make this kind of, the Lua people of
I get
Hawaii,
what
right?
I get what you're saying. I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
that stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
And then lipstick, kajol, and all that stuff. Oh, this is not an original idea. Like I did it to one of my friends. I made him um, a hooker basically, and like
Man, you're a horrible person. You started this podcast by saying, "Oh, Shawki's been such a good influence on me." I don't endorse any of these things. I want to stop the podcast here right
uh,
now. I don't endorse any of this, guys.
okay, okay, maybe, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm a horrible person, but I stopped. Okay, after my birthday, I stopped doing it
Yeah,
because
obviously, because you already punished like half the people in the university, probably. Yeah, go on. So yeah, you had the get up
um,
then.
yeah, so I got the get up. So nothing up till that point was horrible. Like I'm a showman, right? So I was wearing the belly dance. I'm like, oh, you want a belly dance? Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, and then they they decided to make a necklace. Okay,
Okay.
and the necklaces was made of cockroaches. Okay, and and I didn't know this. Okay, so they blindfolded me and they tied me to a chair. Okay, and so it's like a necklace of cockroaches. So I heard rumors about it, but then you can't find that many cockroaches, right? You can't like make it last minute.
You're trying to
So
rationalize it yourself. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I hear that they're making a necklace of cockroaches, but can you really find those many cockroaches?
yeah,
They,
exactly. I mean, who would even do it? Because people are scared of it, and yeah, they're not
people
gonna
who
do that.
you'd be surprised how far men can push themselves when they're in pain,
Oh, the
Sherwin.
story isn't over, Shoki. The story isn't over.
Yeah, go. Yeah,
So
please. I keep interrupting, but go on.
I'm
Yeah.
blind. So this is like the belly dance happens in front of an audience. Okay, there's like 20-25 people, and they're all like shouting songs, and they're like, "Oh, sexy, give me a dance," stuff like that. Okay, everybody's like, everybody's fucked up. Okay, yeah. So there's this chair. They tie me to the chair. They blindfold me. Okay, this is your real surprise going to happen. That's when like everything drained out of my face, and everything is like I'm going into shock. Okay, same thing. So I'm tied to the chair, and I can't explain like my feelings to the people. So some of my friends are like, they're like nice guys, so they're feeling sorry for me. Okay, and they're like trying to
Right.
stop what's about to happen. But the other, like the assholes of the group, they're like, no, we gotta see this through. We gotta see what happens. So
Yeah,
there's
finish the
this,
job.
yeah. So there's this guy called so Varghese. Okay, he gets selected to put the necklace on me.
You get selected.
So
Wow, what an honor. No,
the
I'll
honor
do it. I'll do
of
it.
doing it,
Yeah,
okay? Because
yeah,
like if I'm free, I would have like knocked him out, because
yeah.
the thing about the shock thing.
So you were tied
So
like with a rope to a chair.
yeah, I was tied up because like normally I wouldn't allow them to do something like this, okay?
Yeah. Wow.
Because
Okay.
I'm like literally, if a cockroach comes now, I'll be screaming and running away. Okay, it's a horrible situation. I'm not proud of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's, I don't know what it is.
I get it. I get it.
So the moment has come. Okay, everyone is like pin drop silence. Okay, till then like, everybody was screaming, and now everybody's like expecting something to happen. Okay, and I'm blindfolded and I can't see shit, and I'm like fuck. I'm cursing. Okay, oh man, don't do it, don't do it. Okay, and I hear this laugh, okay, and and this guy Varghese, he puts the thing on me, and immediately I know it's cockroaches because they're just walking all around my neck.
They're alive cockroaches?
I don't know how he manages it, but it's like tied to a ribbon kind of thing, and I guess they were dead, but to me they felt alive. Okay, and I just lost it. Okay, I'm like, I'm crying, I'm screaming. I don't know
Also,
what's
the
happening.
necklace is around your neck and you're still tied,
Yeah.
and now you can see it's cockroaches.
No, I'm blindfolded. I can just feel it.
Oh, okay, okay, you can feel it. Okay.
Okay, which is worse because now I'm totally. Wait. I'm in a belly dance costume. Okay,
Yeah.
so like that's half naked. Okay, it's
Yeah.
it's not really covering anything or anything like that. Okay, so imagine that scene. Okay, and everybody's pin drop silent. They're just enjoying the torture. Okay, this is how people like the mob mindset comes. Okay, and so the cockroach, the necklace. After some time, like people are, like I start crying. Okay, almost in sort of bad situation sort of thing. People get really sorry for me, and then they dropping out. Still, a few of the dudes were like, no, we need to see him sit there, and like they haven't. And then everything, like I don't remember what happened after that. Like they just loosen me, and I'm like not responsive and stuff. They push me to the toilet, and they wash me off and stuff like that. Yeah. So that was after that. Like I don't really do anything for birthdays and stuff.
It's your birthday, he gets cake now. Then Sherwin gets cake and candles and kisses the person. Happy birthday. I'm so proud of you. I love you so much.
Yeah. So that's like the best birthday that everybody's had in the
How old were you when
whole.
this happened, by the way? How old were you?
I think 21 or 22 or something.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, 22. I think 22.
22, huh? 22. Right. Wow, that's a good story, man. Uh, just remind me though, speaking of the crazy situations, even though I have a lot of crazy situations with Omar, like it's hard for me to narrow them down, but I'll talk about this. When Omar moved out to a different university, right? So I had a new roommate then, and I had lived with Omar
Yeah.
for like 2 years. So I was like, damn, man, Omar's leaving. As this new roommate who showed up, I was in the same hostel, same room, and now I had a different
Yeah.
roommate. So it felt really odd. And this roommate comes in, and he doesn't speak English. Okay, so bear with me. He doesn't speak English,
Okay.
right? So I'm like, hi, how's it going? Like, hi, and he's just smiling and he's nodding his head. I'm like, okay, what's up with this guy? And I go to the supervisor and I talk to him. And my supervisor is an ass. Okay, he was an ass to me. So I'm like, hey, what's up with this guy, right? And he's like, oh, he came here on a foundation program. Like, what the hell does that mean? So then I kind of started educating myself on what a foundation program is. And essentially, what a foundation
Yeah.
program is, if you studied high school uh, through a language that was not English, you're put into a foundation program where you learn English and then you proceed to continue with the university courses, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
he had to go through a foundation first. So I'm like, okay. Already it was like, oh man, now how do I even communicate with this guy? I was having trouble. I'm like, okay, this is pretty less bad. Like, okay, fine. And I'm living with this guy, so I can't talk to the guy I'm living with. So now what happens was I'm in my room feeling particularly crappy because of the semester I was having. And this guy, he has his laptop open in front of him, right? And the beds are like, this is my bed, this is his bed, right? And
Yeah.
he's on his laptop, right? And I'm just on my phone, and I could hear like a static sound coming. I'm like, what's that static sound? It's the opening of HBO, like this, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
was like, oh, he's watching HBO. He doesn't speak English. He's watching HBO. And then I hear this medieval music playing. I'm like, wait, does that sound like the opening of Game of Thrones? Because I don't watch Game of Thrones, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's the opening of Game of Thrones. And so he's watching Game of Thrones. And then suddenly what happens is that he has a blanket, right? And he puts the blanket over himself, right?
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, like, what the hell's going on? Like, what's this guy doing? And
Uh,
I'm sitting in the room, and the blanket is over himself, and then like I start hearing these slow noises coming from him, like, these grunts, and he starts breathing.
Oh,
He starts breathing really heavily, and I'm like, okay, like what's going on? And then progressively, those grunts get louder, and I'm trying to like mind my own business because I just don't want to look there and see what's happening. And then, but I just can't take it because the noises are just getting louder and louder. And then I kind of use my peripherals and see, and I could see like underneath the blanket, some part is really vigorously going back and forth. Okay. And so it turns out that this guy who doesn't speak English was watching Game of Thrones to kind of pleasure himself while I was in the room. I grab my earphones. I take a long walk. Like I take a walk for like 2 hours on campus. Like, dude, this is like, I don't want to go back. I need to change my room, but I don't want this guy. And I come back to the room, and now he's making tea. Basically, he's like, okay, hey, you want tea? He's boiling water. Yeah, sure. Like chai. And he starts like, yeah, chai, okay. And he gives me chai, and I drink chai. I'm like, hey, this is actually really good chai. I'm like, this is really good chai. Like, how did you make this chai? Good. How do you make this chai? And he doesn't speak English, and he just looks at me and he's like, secret. And I look back and I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Oh, no.
So he's like, secret. I'm like, what? What does that mean? Like, what the hell? Secret? What?
Okay.
And of course, that doesn't imply anything, but that was a really weird day because I was like, okay. And then
Oh
I
my
started
God.
looking into other options of, I'm like, I need to change my dorms and stuff. And I started talking to the supervisor. I'm like, professor, not professor, can I change? I need to change my roommate. Like, why do you change your roommate? He needs you. He's new here. You're older than him. He needs you. He needs some guidance. And I'm like, what the hell? You never cared, give a rat's ass about us when we are going through so much shit. And now you're here telling me that I have to guide him and stuff. When did you grow like empathy and stuff? When did you become this person? Like, no. And I moved to a nicer indoor dorm. And I had another roommate there, this Nigerian guy, and that's a whole other story. But it was it was way nicer. I had my own remote for the AC and stuff, so it was way more cozy. But again, like the roommate situation was really messed up after that, and then eventually I ended up moving out of the dorms.
Okay. I'll tell you a medical story. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So the thing is, like, the first year of medicine begins with anatomy. Okay. So the process of learning anatomy is there's a dead body, and you progressively cut the person open.
Just give me a minute, Sherwin.
Yeah.
So your medicine story.
Yeah. So the thing is, so the thing is that usually how you learn anatomy is that there's a dead body, okay, and you progressively cut the person open to find everything out, okay. So there are books that you read, and then you go and you cut your body open, okay. So bodies are not like, they're not, you, you can't just find them out in the road or something like that. I mean, you can find it, but you need to like
I'm sorry, I thought of the Munna
have,
Bhai scene. I don't know if you watched the movie.
yeah, I've watched it.
That's why I just kept thinking that's God. Yeah.
Yeah. So the situation is kind of pretty similar because the college needs to acquire bodies and stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened is that so what I'm expecting is so before the first day, okay. So the thing is, the professor of anatomy comes and he explains that this is the most noble thing you're going to do. You're going to study from a dead person. Okay, it's very noble. You have to respect the body. You can't do stuff to the body and stuff like that. Okay, I mean, like,
Yeah.
no disrespectful actions towards the body and stuff like
Right.
that. So we're all like, everybody's kind of terrified about, like, it's a dead body, so what's gonna
Yeah.
happen. Okay.
Right.
So from my experience in movies and stuff, there's like this sheet that's supposed to cover the genitalia of the person. Okay. So my college, my batch, it was like 6 bodies for 150 people. So it's like 25 to 30 people per body. Okay. So I was expecting people to faint. Okay. People will
Oh,
see the
yeah.
body
Of
and
course.
they'll like faint. It
Yeah.
smells bad because of the bodies are preserved using chemicals and stuff like that. Okay,
Yeah.
so I was expecting it to be like covered and stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
for the first few days at least, and then like we enter the anatomy hall. Okay, it's like a huge ass hall. Okay, and there's we are guided to this body. Okay, and there's this nude ass dude. Okay, nothing's covered, and uh, nothing's covered.
The
Okay,
body, you
and
mean, right?
yeah, the body,
Yeah,
the
sure.
dead
There was
body.
someone else in the room. Okay, God.
No, no,
Okay.
the dead body. Like I only
Yeah.
concentrated on my dead body, but there's like 6 other dead bodies.
Yeah.
Nothing's covered.
Okay.
Okay, so this threw me
Okay.
off a little bit. Okay, like there's this nude, like naked. Okay,
Okay.
naked dead body, and we don't know what to do. Okay, like everybody, you can understand by looking at people, like they're trying not to look at the main part. They're looking at the head and looking at the hands and stuff like that. Everybody's trying to avoid that, like, but then people are curious. Okay, so they're like sneaking peeks, and you can see people sneaking peeks at it. Okay, so there's looking at, especially there are girls that like they're from very religious families and stuff like that. So they've never actually even on the internet they've never seen this surprise that they threw us into. Okay, uh, yeah. So I'm like looking at it, and like it's bent the wrong way. Okay. Okay, and I'm like, so I didn't understand anything about the dead bodies and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, there's something wrong with this. Okay, there's this picture, something wrong with it. And I can understand that people are like, either they've come to terms with it or they're like letting it go. But then I'm really curious about this this particular like this happening. Okay, because it's bent the wrong way, and I've never seen that anywhere. So what happens is that what happens is, and we get this professor. Okay, and he's not particularly good at teaching. Okay, but he's a good professor. Okay, you know
Okay.
these professors, right? They don't
I
know
get.
shit
I
about
get.
the topic and stuff like that, but they're very good at teaching. So basically, he starts explaining. So we start by portions. Okay, we start with the hand, then we move to the torso, we go to the leg, then we go to the head, then last is the stomach, and the part attached to it. So apparently, like in the beginning, everyone was scared to touch the thing. Everybody was not
The
the thing,
body.
like the body. Everybody was
Yes.
scared to
Thanks for the
touch the body.
clarification. Go on. Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody was scared to touch the thing, stuff like that. So what I realized was later, like after I studied a little bit. So when you die, right, what happens is that your muscles kind of they get locked into place. Okay, it's called rigor mortis. Okay? It passes away after some time. Okay, but like,
Okay.
so like you see those dead bodies in CSI or in shows like that. They always tell
Yeah.
the time of death, right? The person died at
Yeah.
8 o'clock. The person died at 11
Yeah.
o'clock.
Yeah.
So it's basically depends on the stiffness of the muscles and stuff like that. Okay,
Okay.
so what happened in this particular body is that when the person died, it got stiff the wrong way. Okay. uh, and so this is my hypothesis. Okay, like it's not proven or anything. I suppose like it got stuck the wrong way, and then you just inject the person with chemicals to preserve the body, so that makes the body even harder and like even more preserved, so the person got stuck like that. So the point I'm trying to make is that people got comfortable with nudity and like things like that very quickly. In the medical profession, it's like extremely quickly you get used to it. Even girls, like even really conservative sort of
Conservative.
girls,
Yeah.
they get very quickly they get adapted to it. But the thing that threw us off is the body itself. Okay, so like
Okay.
I'm coming back to the point where they ask us to respect the body. Okay, so the
Okay.
first day, 2 3 weeks later, everybody is respectful of the body. But then a month later, 2 months later, we've given the name, we've given the body a nickname, okay, and he's our best friend. Again, we're like, you have like particular directions to open the body. You're supposed to do it a particular way, and you can either do it that way or you can do it butcher style, you know.
Okay.
So people get so comfortable with the thing that people just rip stuff out, okay, like from like there's fat everywhere. I don't know, like when you look at a person's body, you don't actually understand the fat is everywhere. Like the fat cushions all the organs and stuff, okay, and like you're not prepared for that. So you want to see the kidney, it's actually covered with fat. It's like yellow sort of thing. The kidney
Yeah.
doesn't look all that. The first thing you learn from bodies is that nothing looks like the biology textbook that you read in 10th, right?
Okay.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Everything looks very different. That intestine that they draw like very beautifully, right?
Like
Yeah,
bubblegum,
it looks okay. It looks the same, but it's inside a plastic bag. Okay.
Okay, stop. I'm getting kind of nauseous. I'm getting kind
Okay.
of nauseous, but yeah.
Okay, I
So what's
won't
the
talk about
story?
this.
So what was the story leading up to, basically?
So basically, the thing is that everybody is so everybody gets comfortable with the body, and everybody starts throwing stuff around. I mean, literally, like, you know, the other person is like, I can't. Do you have a heart? And we're like, here, catch. Okay, not that literally, but
Man,
like
doctors are
it's like
scumbags, dude. I thought they respect our bodies when we die. They throw our heart around, literally. This is what
uh,
happens.
this happens surprisingly. There's but you respect the body, you know, like for the people listening, you respect the body, but then when you're studying and you're in the heat of the moment, you kind of forget it's a body, and it's like, it's like stuff like
Wow.
that. Yeah, so everybody, the point I'm leading up to is everybody's seen the dead body, everybody's seen naked people, everybody knows what's happening, stuff like that. So people are not that surprised when it happens, you know. People like the same situation that you went through in your with your roommate, the
Yeah.
Arabic roommate, okay. So if it happens in my hostel, like the dude who sees it will go and call 2 3 other dudes and come, and then like, look at what he's doing. It becomes this spectator
The
sport.
commotion. It's like the
And then you start making noise and stuff.
uh,
Yeah, it's
there was another on the subject of this whole language barrier that I mentioned. So in our dorms, what would happen is that we would have cleaners come in and clean it weekly, like once a week. Okay, the room. Okay, so cleaner comes in, and this cleaner's name was Nagayya. Okay,
okay.
and
Bangladeshi.
so listen. Okay, the
Yeah.
cleaner's name is Nagayya. So I'm like, okay, kya haal hai bhai? How are you? And then he doesn't respond to me. I'm like, okay. And then I speak in English, like, okay, do you understand what I'm saying? And doesn't respond to me. And then I try speaking Arabic, Isma, like, and he doesn't respond. So I eliminated English as a possibility of communication, and Arabic and Urdu. And then I look around, like, talk to this guy, Malayalam man. And he's like, okay, Malayali illa, and again, straight faced. And he's
Yeah.
not Malu. So now we've eliminated 4 different languages. Like, what? Who the hell are you? Like, how do we communicate with this guy? So we didn't know which language he spoke. He spoke like an amalgamation of all 4 of these languages. Okay. So what happened was that he would clean the room. So we'd ask him, we're like, अच्छा भाई साहब आप आज कमरा साफ करेंगे? And his communication would be either yes or a no. So yes would be, that's his yes, and so those like, okay. So we asked him, भाई आप आज क्या कमरा साफ करेंगे? Like, अच्छा तो आज पूरा कमरा साफ करेंगे? हाँ? तो बाथरूम भी आप साफ करेगा?
Okay.
Okay. So and he would be like, so we would have a cleaning like once a week, right? So after he would be done cleaning the room, he would be like one month cleaning over. Okay. So he'd say 1 month cleaning over. He's like, 1 month cleaning over? Like what? So we only get clean once a month. So 1 month cleaning would be over. Then he'd come back the next day. And then we ask him, देखो, आपने कल तो कमरा साफ किया था. Like, you already cleaned the room yesterday. What are you doing? It's like, अच्छा. It's like, okay, so today, are you going to clean the room today? आप आज कमरा साफ करेंगे? अच्छा, आप पूरा कमरा मत साफ करिएगा. बस बाथरूम साफ करिएगा. अच्छा, तो आप कितने बजे आएंगे? it's like, are you going to clean the room today? It's like, yeah. Are you going to clean the entire room today? Like, yeah. Don't clean the just don't clean the bathroom. Like, yeah. So what time will you come?
No. Okay, that's cool.
Too many stories. My area, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so I won't talk about that stuff.
Yeah, don't.
Okay, girls, relationships. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, like when your bro gets married, you're like you're trying to be supportive. Okay.
I love how you started. You know, when your bro gets married, you're trying to be supportive. Yeah, go on.
Okay. So this is one of my roommates. Okay, I'm not gonna tell
Name
you who
him.
it is.
Yeah,
No,
they don't know
I'm
anyway, but that's fine. Yeah, you can use the alias.
Okay.
Let's call him Bob.
Yeah, okay, we call him Bob. Okay.
Yeah.
So Bob is my roommate, and he's not any of my current roommates because I can't tell shit stories about them because they'll, blackmail me and stuff. So this is one of my roommates. Okay, Bob. So the problem with Bob was, Bob is one of those problematic roommates that I mentioned before. So Bob likes this girl. Okay. Okay, so Bob is this macho man. He's like the man's man. Okay, so
Yeah,
I'm
how
fired up.
Lucy was the man's cat, so he's the man's man. Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
And Lucy, that's how you started off. Lucifer's a man's man. It turns out Lucifer's actually a Lucy. But go on, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Bob's the man's man. Okay. Bob likes getting into fights. Okay. Bob likes getting into fights. So the only person that can handle Bob is me. So like I'm like one of those pacifist guys. I don't want to hit you until I really have to hit you. I don't hit people. Okay. So I'm like trying to understand Bob. And so the first time I meet Bob itself, Bob is like, he tells me his love story first. Okay. And so I'm like really interested to know all this stuff because it's romance and like I've never been like part of it. So I'm like really excited. Okay, and then Bob like tells me his love story about how he loves this girl and he proposed.
Right.
And it's beautiful. It's wonderful. Right up to graduation when she got into a college and he's like, he's with me. He's repeating. So instead of his forever after, he got me. Okay.
So basically, after the story was still, you're talking about graduation in university or you're talking about in high school?
No. This is high school graduation. They were high school sweethearts. Okay.
So high school sweethearts, and then after graduation, they kind of went their own ways.
Yeah. So they're having problems. Okay.
Right.
So Bob, I didn't know they were having problems before, like when Bob was, when I initially met Bob. Okay, I didn't know they were having problems, but progressively, like I discovered Bob was having problems because like, after class I used to come back home, back to my room, and then I would find Bob like looking at his phone, looking at his pictures, and
they're really gloomy
Bob
and stuff. Yeah.
No, Bob is crying. Okay. Bob is bawling his ass out. Okay. This is this macho dude. Okay, who'll like fight anyone who pisses him off, and he's like.
I keep telling you, there's no such thing as toxic masculinity, Mac. I've said this like the third time I'm mentioning this, but yeah, go on. In every episode,
Like, he's crying. Okay. So when you see a dude crying, you're like, hey man, what's up, man? Like, yeah, whatever, man. And he's like, she's gone, and like, and I don't know how to be supportive in that situation. Okay, and I'm like, it's okay, man. Like, we'll get her back. Like, the first day was like really emotional. I sit and talk to him a lot. It's okay. He's crying, and I'm trying to support him and stuff like that. Okay, the first day, it's okay. Second day, it's still fine. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, the dude randomly starts crying, and you're just getting annoyed at this point. Okay, oh man. Okay, So my go-to method was like to, you know, okay, bye, and then I just walk away, go to
So
another
you
dude's
abandoned
room.
him when he was getting emotional?
Dude, keeps crying, man. Like it's annoying after like a few times. Okay, imagine Umar coming every day and looking at his phone at a girl's picture and crying. Okay, not like one of those one tear rolling down your cheek sort of crying. He's bawling out. Okay, he's like literally crying.
Damn, man, love can
Okay,
do crazy things to you. Yeah, okay, God.
okay. So
Yeah.
so Mr. Bob meets Mrs. Bob. Okay, like
Oh,
not the ex, but a new girl. Okay,
okay, a new girl. Yeah.
a new girl comes into the picture. Okay, we'll call her Phoebe. Okay, so we call her Phoebe.
Okay, Phoebe. Yeah.
So Phoebe. so so he's in. Yeah, he's in love with Phoebe. I mean, he's
Oh, now
starting to fall in love
he's
with Phoebe.
oh, he's starting to fall in love with Phoebe. Okay.
Love with Phoebe. He's trying, but he
Yeah.
can't forget the other
Right.
girl. Okay.
Yeah.
So now the crying increases. Okay, because he's feeling guilty. At the same time, he
Oh.
can't forget her. Okay.
Okay.
So this is getting really
Yeah, not for you.
yeah. It's getting really annoying. Okay. I've had my share of like love stories and stuff. Okay. So I'm hearing to this story for the like 40th time. Okay. Like how he gave her a chocolate and how he proposed and how they made out and all this stuff. Okay. And every chance I get, I run away. But you gotta sleep, come back to sleep in your room, right?
Yeah.
So Bob, see, nobody else knows this because outside Bob is the manliest
Yeah.
dude. Okay,
Yeah.
and I progressively start like avoiding him, because when the new girl came in, I thought like everything's gonna be cool, everything's gonna be,
Right.
and then Bob breaks up with the new girl. Okay,
Okay.
because the guilt is killing him. Okay,
Right. But then I mean, but he and wait, so he cheated on, let's call her Barbara. He cheated on Barbara, basically.
no, Barbara and him was broken up. Okay, but
Right.
he's still in love
So,
with Barbara.
okay.
Okay,
Okay.
you get it?
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it. He's not able to move on from Barbara. He wasn't able to move on.
yeah. So he broke up with Phoebe. Okay,
Phoebe. Yeah,
basically
yeah,
that's what happens.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, this is where it gets really messed up because
Okay.
Phoebe gets really messed up because of this breakup. Okay, and Phoebe sends him this book. Okay, with writings in it. Okay, so it's written in blood. Okay. Okay. Uh, yeah, it's written in blood. And I'm sitting there and looking at this book, and I'm like, what the fuck is
He actually
happening?
sends him a book, like a physical book, and you can turn the pages and you see stuff written in blood.
The whole book wasn't written in blood. It was like maybe 10, 15 pages of it. Okay.
Yeah, that
It's
doesn't
like,
make things any less, like, creepy. No, not the whole book. There are some nice doodles in there and stuff with flowers, but like the highlights, the 10, 15 pages, yeah, those are blood. Okay, yeah, go on.
so I didn't believe it was blood. Okay. So like you would expect, like when you see it in like notes and stuff written in movies, it's this dark, like scarlet sort of color, right? You're imagining that right now. This looks like brown watercolor. Okay.
Brown water, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't believe it was blood, but then it was actually blood because it smells. It smells like blood. Okay. And I'm looking at this and I'm freaking out because I've never seen anything this in my life. Okay. And this dude is looking at it and he doesn't know what to do. Okay. So yeah, the blood book. So so for some time I'm like getting over the thing that's happened. And this dude starts crying again. Okay. And I don't even want to know what he's crying about. Okay. Because At this point, like I'm not. Like, I feel like crying because of this book. Okay.
I was like, there's gonna be a lot more blood where that came from. Yeah, go on.
So, yeah. So I talked to him about it. Like, perhaps since Barbara is already gone, and
Yeah,
obviously this
Phoebe's.
girl likes you a lot. Like Phoebe is ready to,
You don't say.
perhaps you should
Maybe. Yeah.
consider seriously being with Phoebe, and she's nice, sort of thing. And then after that, he sort of got a lot better. He stopped crying a lot. He became bearable, and he wouldn't sit in the room a lot because he would be out with Phoebe, just hanging out with Phoebe. Okay. So yeah, it's a happy ending because right now I think they're still together. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're still together. But that's the last time I'm like supporting people with their love life and stuff like that, because you know how crazy it sort of gets, the drama. That's when I'm like, I joined college and I'm like, no drama for me. I'm away from drama, sort of thing. So that's
It's yeah, man. I don't get the whole the dating scene right now. It's very strange. Like I hear all these stories, like especially the whole app thing. Like I don't get the app stuff. I stay away from all that stuff
yeah.
consciously. I'm conflicted. I just don't understand it. But yeah, so
But
where does the wedding come in?
what wedding?
You said when your friend's getting married, you want to be supportive.
Oh no, that was just like
Oh, okay.
reference sort of thing.
Reference. Right, right, right.
They
Okay.
go, yeah. People get married. Like a lot of my friends are
So
getting
what?
married
So
during
she was
this.
it confirmed that she used her blood to write that stuff?
Man, you don't ask stuff like that.
Actually, I shouldn't. I'll cut that part. I don't even want to know if she used her blood. I don't know what happens in these medical colleges, man. It might be tossing a
No, no,
heart. She
no.
must have
This is
stabbed
this
that.
is not. This is before medical college, man. No one in medical college is this crazy. Okay, I've never seen medical
So
college students do this.
this is what coaching days.
Yep, this is coaching days.
Oh, high school. Oh man, what the hell?
Yeah, no, right after high school. So
I'm surprised. I don't think so, man. Like, I can't get like, wouldn't a girl be creeped out by that herself? Like, let alone doing it.
oh, it was blood. I don't know if it was hers. Could be chicken blood. I don't
What if
know.
it was Barbara's blood? Your voice is getting cut. Can you say something? I can't hear you. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. I said, what if it was
Yeah,
Barbara's blood?
I don't think so. It's Barbara's blood. Like, that's not possible. They were in different locations and stuff.
I don't
I
know, man.
mean, chicks are crazy, man. Chicks are crazy. I don't know.
I mean, guys are pretty crazy too. I've heard a lot of stories, man. What do you miss the most about hostel life?
But friends, obviously, the friends. Like, my hostels, like, nothing is your own. Everything is like into the void. So you don't own anything in the hostels. Like,
Yeah,
it's all borrowed. Everything's borrowed. So
yeah,
my thing is, I'm very clean and stuff because I don't want roaches to get in. So my rooms, I clean after
yeah,
my friends and stuff. Okay, I clean after my friends. Everything is kept organized. All the food is thrown out.
yeah,
Oh right, I forgot to mention, like, since it's in a forest area, we have antelopes, we have peacocks, and we have monkeys. Okay, so we have these huge ass monkeys coming into the rooms and eating food and stuff like that. It's not funny. It's very scary, to be honest, because the monkeys know that you're scared of them. Okay, they're not dumb like dogs. Okay, dogs don't know that we're scared of them. Dogs are like, okay, they're picking up a stone, I better run away. So monkeys, they test it out. They come closer, and if we're not running away screaming, like the big males, usually they just come outside and start doing stuff like that. So when you order food from outside and you keep the garbage outside, every day in the morning the monkey is eating the food, okay? You're like waking up, you go outside, the monkey's having his breakfast, and you're like, hey, what's up? And stuff like that. So we name monkeys. Like there were a few monkeys that we used to know by sight and stuff like that. So
Okay.
that was pretty wild. It still happens, like until they cut most of the trees around our hostels because the monkeys were being a nuisance and stuff like that. Yeah. Uh,
What was the worst? Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I miss the people. So I miss the
The
people a
people,
lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
people. That's what I keep saying. Like, I think the dorms is more about community. And
Yeah.
if you find a good community, then you'll miss dorms. If you don't find a community, then it'll be a miserable experience.
Oh, you. Oh no.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah. What was the worst part about hostel life?
The again the people, you know.
The people, yeah, I agree. It's the same
Again
thing,
the
right?
people.
If you have good people, then it makes the whole experience is
Yeah,
all the more
like one of
fun.
my hostels, like the bathroom situation was horrible.
Speaking
Like,
of bathroom situation, before I interrupt, right?
yeah,
Creepy Game of Thrones guy, right?
yeah.
He would leave a Kinder Surprise and wouldn't flush the bathroom, just putting it out there every
Okay,
time.
okay,
And that would put me in
okay.
such a daze because I was like, what the hell is this, man? Like you're an 18-year-old man. Why aren't you flushing the goddamn bathroom when you're done? Yeah, go on.
Okay, okay. So the toilet situation was crazy because one of my hostels had an Indian toilet. Okay,
Oh
you know the
God,
Indian toilets, right?
I do.
So I had this maneuverability class with one of the dudes. Okay, he had an Indian toilet in his house, and like I was just a normal toilet. Okay, so I'm like, how do we exactly do our business in the toilet? And he's like, imagine a workout and like you're doing squats
Squat, yeah.
sort of
The
thing.
squats, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like squatting sort of thing. And I'm like, yeah, fuck that. Okay, sort of thing. And then, so yeah, there was like three bathrooms, okay, and the Indian toilet was in like two of them, and the other one had a European sort of thing going on. But that the European toilet didn't have a light on it. Like there was no light.
Okay. Right, right.
Okay, so it was crappy sort of situation
Uh-huh. Yeah.
before college. Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah. So there's this toilet, and and sometimes the electricity would go and you had to like take a shower or take a dump in the darkness. Okay, it's totally dark, you don't know what the heck is around. With my phobia of cockroaches, and I'm like freaking out every single morning before I have to take a shower and stuff like that. Keeping that in mind, I still say that the worst thing about hostels is the people. Like some people are like,
Yeah.
they're just
I
horrible.
you mentioned this whole electricity thing, right? And another story came to my mind. Like I'm kind of holding back on stories because I have so many stories to tell, and I'm just trying to think of which ones I should. But so in our like, I think there was a curse in my experience with university and living in the dorms. Towards the end of the semester, some crap would happen in the dorms. Something would happen. Like we'd have a blackout for sure, and this started happening from the
Okay,
first semester that I was. So we had a blackout, right? And this is in the second semester. And what happens in the blackout is that the water system is connected to the electricity, right? At least
okay,
where we were. So I was like in my room, and Omar was in the bathroom, and then there's a blackout, right? And like, what the hell is a blackout? And Omar walks out of the bathroom, and he's like, okay, there's a blackout, and Omar's trying to find me because Omar's scared of the dark. Says, where, Shoki, where are you? Where are you, Shoki? And any normal human being, if he's trying to find someone, how would you find, if it's a pitch black room and you're trying to find someone, how would you extend your hand? Sherwin, tell me, how would you
like,
extend your
like
hand?
right out.
Like this, right? You open.
Yeah.
He did this, okay? And I didn't wear glasses at the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, where are you? And then he started walking and he poked my eye all the way inside, basically, okay? And I screamed at him like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why? So he's like, oh, I don't know, I panicked and stuff. Like, okay, fine. Now so it's pitch black, and we are in this place now. right? Like we don't have any electricity, and we don't have water, and we hadn't had dinner yet either. Like, what the hell do we do now? And then he said, like, okay, here's what we'll do. This was around, I want to say, what time was this? Yeah, in the evening. I'm not sure because there have been many blackout stories. So I'm trying to figure out which one it was. But uh, we had this plan. We're like, okay, you know what we'll do? It was 4. It wasn't pitch black. There was still some sunlight, but then it had gotten like really hot and stuff. Right? This pitch black one was a different story, but this is a different blackout. So there's a blackout. Omar gets out of the bathroom. And Omar's like, what the hell's happening? It's a blackout now. And it's 4 p.m. And we had a blackout prior. So we kind of prepared ourselves. Like, okay, what we should do is, because the last blackout lasted for such a long time, why don't you, me, and this third person, let's go to Dubai. Okay, let's spend, because we always went to this mall, Dubai Mall. You know, that's our second home, basically, Dubai Mall.
Yeah, okay.
And you know, as students, and especially as international people, whenever we'd go out, because transportation is so expensive, it's like we'd like to go to a place that has everything. So in the sense that, okay, if you're gonna go watch a movie, it has food. There's like a food court there too, so you can have dinner and a movie. You know, so it gets both the things done. So my idea was, okay, let's leave, let's go to Dubai Mall, let's spend the day there, and by the time we're done, let's come back, right? And I said, okay, cool. And the stupid thing about our dorms is that we had a curfew on weekdays, which was at 11 p.m. And no one would come back before 11 p.m. Like, even if you come back after that, you had to like write down what was your reason for coming back late and stuff. It was really stupid. Okay, like, I haven't watched a movie, that's why I'm late. And the problem with the bus situation was that the buses that took you to Dubai, to a metro station, the buses that would return, take you back from the metro station to campus, the last bus was at 10:30 p.m. Now, as engineering students, we had labs. So around, like, usually you would get done by 4 p.m. and you would take, like, let's say the 5 p.m. bus. You get to the metro station in an hour. So by 6, you're at metro station. You spend like 45 minutes getting to the Dubai Mall, which is 6:45. Yeah. So let's say you get a show for 7. You get into the show for 7. You watch a movie. It's an average of 3 hours, which is including the commercials. It's already 10 p.m. while you're in the mall. So there's no way in hell that you could take a bus back, right? So you have to take a cab back. So what had happened was, I told the guys, I'm like, listen, guys, we're just here for some time. We're not going to watch a movie. We're going to have our dinner and we're going to come back. And because I don't want to deal with this curfew situation, you know. And Umar's like, no, man, because it's the blackout is going to last for a long time. We have to, like, let's stay here and might as well watch a movie. I'm like, no, I just don't want to deal with any of these supervisors, whatever it is. Fine. So we end up leaving the mall at 8 p.m., right? So we're leaving the mall, okay, and we take a cab or something back, right? Like, okay, might as well split the cab three-way instead of going in. The commute is going to take longer, so let's just get into a cab. Let's split the cab. Let's get campus. And you know, when you drive into my campus, there's like, you could see this main building that's lit up usually, right?
Yeah.
And as we're driving, right, when we reach the campus, the building is not lit up. Okay, which means the blackout is still there, right? And then, like, Omar has daggers in his eyes as he's looking at me, like, what, the blackouts still here. I'm like, no, man, we haven't gotten the dorms. We get to the dorms, and there's this guy, right, who was with me in my calculus class. Poor guy, under the street lamp, right? He has his textbook, and he's trying to study for his exam. Basically, it's like, oh man, like, the electricity hasn't turned back yet. And what, the only thing on my mind right now is the bathroom situation, because I asked Omar, like, so we have nothing to worry about, right? When we left the bathroom. And Omar's kind of quiet. I'm like, we don't have anything to worry about, right? It's like, just tell me this. Did you pee or did you do something else? And he's like, I did something else. And I'm like, we live in an open dorms, and I don't want cockroaches in my room because of this. I don't want the room to, like, reek, and that to attract bugs, because we have to deal with that. And Nagayya isn't going to show up for another week. Okay? So like, okay, what do we do now? Coincidentally, the third guy who we went with, the electricity came back online in his dorm. So we went to his dorm, right? So it was me, Omar, and the third guy. And while we were there, Omar wanted to watch this movie really badly. The movie was Dil Dharakne Do, okay? It was a Hindi movie. So he wanted to watch it. So he's like, he walked in, he looked around, he's like, yeah, I'm going to watch the movie on my own. He's like, I'll go to Sharjah. So he leaves and he goes to watch the movie in Sharjah. And this is at around 11:30. Okay? He leaves campus at 11:30. Okay, to watch a movie in Sharjah. And usually after the curfew, there are 3 gates to the campus. 2 of them get closed and 1 gate is open. But whenever you do arrive on campus, you're supposed to show your ID card, like, oh, hey, I'm a student
Okay.
here, and then they let you in. He forgot his ID card. Okay.
Oh.
And he came back at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. in the morning, right? Somehow he miraculously talked through the guy at the gate and he got in, basically. And when he got in, we're like, okay, what's the sleeping situation going to be like now? Because there are only 2 beds in the room and the 3 of us, right?
Yeah.
So this third guy, he offered, and I was kind of sick, so he's like, you could sleep on my bed. And his roommate wasn't in the room. And his roommate, he was on good terms with his roommate. So it's like, I don't even know if I can talk to this guy right now, So he was on the floor for a while, and then Umar came in late, right? Umar was like, hey, how's it going? He came at 3 a.m, and this guy got so pissed. It's like, I'm not gonna. My roommate's not back here, and Umar is not going to sleep on the second bed. So he went to the second bed where Umar sleep on the floor.
Okay.
So there's another sleeping related story that I can't say here right now because I'm trying to hold back on that stuff. There's a lot of dorm stuff that happened, man.
Okay. Sleeping is like we had separate beds, but my friend and me, we sort of joined the beds together. So it's
Join the
like one
beds
big
together, yeah.
bed.
One big,
So it's
yeah.
like one big bed. So that's
Yeah.
like the communal bed sort of thing. So when we have
Yeah.
like discussions and stuff like that, or like when
Yeah.
there's like common food sort of thing.
Yeah, you guys sit together and eat or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we discuss stuff. We listen to music and stuff like that. It's like this big bed.
That's what
sort
we
of
used to
thing.
do because there were certain bed sheets given to us by the dorms themselves, but we never used those bed sheets
Yeah.
because they were always filthy. So what we would do is we'd use those bed sheets as like a food mat. So we'd put the bed sheet on the floor and we'd eat on that,
Oh, yeah.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah, but we will. At some points, it would. There is a memory situation.
What
Hello.
situation? Yeah.
The memory thing. Is that okay?
Yeah, I just keep worrying about that. Like I'm checking right now and I keep monitoring it. Yeah, but go ahead. Yeah.
The maximum people I've slept with is like 6 people. Like no. I mean that came out wrong. Like in a
Bunked
same
with.
bed.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, the same bed, so people are like dead tired after. You okay? Let me start over again. Okay.
No,
So
I
like
get you. You don't
there's
have to.
there's
Yeah.
there's like programs in our colleges, sort of thing. So there's like huge festivals. We get pop stars to come. We get movie actors to come. There's huge
Yeah.
competitions with everyone's like running around the whole time, and everyone's dead tired afterwards. So you don't know where you're
Yeah.
sleeping. My floor
Right.
is like on the 7th floor. Okay, I'm on the seventh
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah.
So there's this big thing, like everybody sort of sleeps wherever they want, like everyone is comfortable. So there's like in the morning you wake up and there's like 6 dudes, okay, just sprawled around you everywhere. Okay, it's worse when you go to a different college for like inter college festivals and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because at one point there were like 15 guys in one tiny room. Okay,
Yeah.
and everyone's like fucked up, everyone's shit tired, okay, because the whole morning you're like running around after your college, because this is war, basically. It's war. It's called intermedicos, like different medical colleges fight for the championship sort of thing. Okay.
Okay.
And I was the head for my college, for the art situation. I was a head. I was looking after
Okay.
my college. Okay, and we got placed 5th. Okay, so that's pretty good.
Okay.
Okay, I know
Okay.
that sounds anti-dramatic, but like the
How
big
many
colleges have
colleges
a lot of
participated?
35 colleges. Something.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Wow. Cool.
So the big colleges, they get a lot of like stuff like that. Hey, let's not get into that. So there's like 20 guys. Okay, sleeping around, and you barely sleep, you barely eat, sort of thing. But the worst situation is when people get drunk. You know.
Yeah. No, thankfully we didn't have that. But even when people are sober, they're pretty stupid in my university, So I really don't want to get through the. I don't want to get to the drunk stuff. And people are very strict about the whole drinking situation and substance abuse with it because they deport you, especially in Sharjah.
Oh, that's a lot of stories about.
I know
Yeah.
you have a lot of stories too. I have a lot of stories too. And I think in a way we're both holding back on our stories also.
Yeah.
And I would really want to continue this discussion longer, but I'm just concerned about the memory right now.
Yeah,
And
okay.
so I have got to deal with that. But before I kind of close, like before we actually end the discussion, would you recommend somebody to live on campus or the hostel?
Recommend like who?
Like
Who do you
like
want me
if a
to recommend?
person, people usually are kind of apprehensive about leaving home and staying on their own, like in a hostel or like a on-campus housing. But
Okay,
based
okay.
on your experience, would you recommend that to them, or what would you tell them?
No, I mean like since you're going out of your family sort of thing, like that's what I mentioned about a bubble. Like you're living inside a bubble, okay? So the point is the world isn't a bubble, okay? The world is filled with very different people with a lot of crap happening in their lives, okay? So one of the ways in which you can experience it and you can understand, try to understand people, because right now the world is getting a lot more polarized than it was like 10 years back or 20 years back. People are not talking about stuff. People are not trying to understand each other. So one of the methods that young people can immediately try to get things from a person, they don't have anything in common with the other person, but they're like, they 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 learn to live together because the situation is such a thing that you need to understand the person, and you need to know his story, and you need to understand what he's feeling. That kind of stuff only happens when in a hostels or in a dorm. And another big factor is depending on your course load, okay? Because something like medicine, which I'm studying, the course load is enormous. It's very hectic. And like literally you can't, my textbooks are like this fat, this
Wow.
fat.
Yeah.
Textbooks are that big. There is no way you can write a paper by learning the whole thing, okay? So it becomes a necessity that everybody studies something or the other, and everybody is screaming out some random thing. Because so many papers of mine I've passed because the last minute my friend is like, "Hey, did you learn that?" I'm like, "No, what the heck is that?" And then he explains to me in like 2 3 sentences, and that's what I wrote for the exam, and I passed. So there's a lot of, it depends on the thing. And but again and again I keep coming back to the point is that if you get a good roommate or if you get a good person to do it with, that makes a lot of difference, okay? Like like I think you guys know each other, and that kind of situation is the best sort of
Yeah.
thing. Otherwise you'll have to like wish for the best, wish for the things clicking sort of thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
my
agree
opinion.
with you. Like the whole idea of a bubble, like it's all about exploration, right? And getting to meet different people from different backgrounds and really opens your mind. And just, I would recommend everyone to kind of live on your own. You have to at least once, and the earlier you
Yeah,
do it, the better, because it teaches you so much, and you feel good about it too. Like I feel like, especially, isn't that what kind of excites a lot of people when they're getting out of school? Like even though they have this kind
yeah,
of fear, there's
independence.
also this excitement. They like this independence. Like, oh, okay, I get to be my own boss, and what's that like? And you learn a lot of things on, like when you're living on your own. And yeah, again, community, man. I value community so much, and I think it's very important. If you have a good community, you'll enjoy the experience. If you don't have a good community, you won't enjoy the experience. And
Yeah,
that's like kind of, yeah, that dilemma is how I kind of moved out of the dorms, actually, because of the whole community. But yeah, that's community, man, and just expanding yourself and understanding like people from different backgrounds. It really does. I do recommend people living alone and on campus. At least they should try it.
yeah,
Do you
definitely.
have any questions? Anything else?
No, that's, I mean, I have stuff, but
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
think
Okay.
about questions.
Think about it if it's, yeah, sure. Thanks for doing this, man.
Yeah, okay.
It was a lot of
Um,
fun talking to you.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. 6 years later, who would have
6 years
thought?
later. Yeah, who would have thought? Not me. Who would have thought 6 years later in a pandemic, that too?
Yeah, pandemic. Oh my God! Don't get me started on this pandemic.
Yeah, a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
So on that note, we've reached the end of the podcast, or should I say, we need to pack our bags and check out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What he said.
Yeah, that's my pun. I know.
Okay, okay.
Okay,
You say
Sherwin.
that.
Uh, yeah. Thanks everyone for watching. Sherwin, look in the camera and wave bye. We're gonna say bye to everyone. So
Bye,
bye
guys.
guys. Bye.
Bye.
And I'm gonna stop the recording.